Howdy.
We're here today with a Q&A.
We're gonna A some Q's.
We are. And if you don't know who this is my husband Ted.
Officially
Aww.
Husband status.
Yeah, for a whole week. Been married a whole week.
Best 7 days of my life.
Babe. Well, we had a lot of you ask questions on Instagram about the wedding, marriage, dating, just kind of all sorts of questions. So we thought we'd answer them and hopefully you'll find this helpful.
Yes. How many do we have? A bunch of them?
Yeah, there's a lot. So we're just going to go straight down the lines. Funny story. When we first met for like the first week, I thought he was like 26, 27, because when we met, I was 28, he was 21, turning 22. And so I feel like I thought he was older and he thought I was like a little bit younger. And then when I found out that he like hadn't even been 21 for a full year, it kind of like threw me off a little bit, but I feel like he was very mature, way more mature than I feel like most like 30-year-old guys are. So yes, the number like kind of threw me off and I make jokes about it all the time, but it doesn't really bother me.
I think it's all about the person. Some 28-year-old guys are very mature. Some, it doesn't like say that about women or men.
Yeah.
It's all about the stage of life you're in.
Yeah.
Be really honest with yourself though.
I want like 2 more.
At least 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Depending, I think.
You changed it down from 4 additional kids.
Well, here's the thing. I've never met anybody that said they wish they had less kids. That's true.
Well, because then they would look like a total a-hole.
No.
Because you don't have like 4 kids and be like, man, I really wish I wouldn't have had little Susie. She's awful. Like, nobody says that.
That's true, but at the same time, if you look in their people's eyes, they're like, I love my children. I've never heard people say they wish they had less. I've only ever heard people say they wish they had more. So at one point I was like, you know what? If I had 4, 5, 6 kids, like, I don't think that would be a bad thing. But in reality, I think like 2 or 3.
Yeah, in addition to Ethan.
In addition to Ethan.
And in 6 months, we'll like talk about having more.
Yeah.
Like, I would probably be ready to talk about having more like next week, but we're gonna wait 6 months.
Well, I think it's important to have like a set time aside just to be us, figure out what that looks like, and yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Totally.
Really soon.
Well, you'll be happy to know we did film the husband buys me makeup tag yesterday and today. And no, Ethan's name will stay Edwardson because his dad is very much in the picture, and so he's still an Edwardson. He'll be an Edwardson for, you know, the rest of his life. I mean, he's 6, so he only understands as much as a 6-year-old can possibly understand. I feel like none of us have been hiding anything from him. We've all been very truthful, but at what a 6-year-old can understand. I feel like he's handling it really well. I think he does really great. I think right now he's in this stage of like figuring out, like, I have 2 dads, I have 2 moms, and then like trying to figure out the boundaries of like, oh, can I call you dad? Can I call you mom? To his stepmom. So I think it's just like a little 6-year-old trying to figure out the right thing to do.
He does call me dad at times, but it's also been Benji's like actually encouraging that.
Yeah.
And that's not true of every person's
Yeah,
ex.
it doesn't happen very often.
I think we are in a pretty positive place as opposed to a lot of people.
Yeah.
In their co-parenting situations, and I think it's important to let the kid or child really piece that together themselves.
Yeah.
What I know is my heart towards Ethan is that of a father, and he'll interact with me in that context for as long as it takes for him to feel safe there, and then that will be the relationship we have.
Yeah.
And I think not being pushy or worried about what that looks like is important, because at the end of the day, kids are really smart. Like, what love does in someone's heart is it creates safety, and that over time only equals, I think, a very positive relationship. Yeah,
and I feel like, especially since the wedding, I know a lot of you guys saw just a part of Ted's vows to Ethan. If you haven't checked it out, it's on Instagram. It's like close to 20,000 views, which is insane. But like something in that moment really changed Ethan's heart, because I think it's unusual for a 6-year-old little boy to just start sobbing like that in front of a huge group of people. And then what was really precious was during the toast, he was trying to get everyone's attention, and he had wrote in our guest book, "I love you, Mom and Dad." And I know he's expressed to a few people like that he'd been praying that like God would have Ted be his dad. So you can see his little heart right there is just like, that's how he views him. And so it's just him, I guess, trying to figure out the naming part of it.
Yeah, I think I agree. I would add another thing, and this is a little bit off topic.
Yeah.
I know Kassie and I did like a lot of pre-marriage counseling stuff with actually some people that had gone through a very similar situation that, you know, we were entering into. And I think it's really important not to feel like you can or try to control what happens to your child in an environment you cannot control.
Yeah.
If you do, you're only going to end up hurting yourself. Like you just can't.
It's more stress on yourself than anything else. And I feel like you end up being disappointed or frustrated, or creates like bitterness, and you just can't control what is happening when they're not in your immediate control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just not a recipe for joy.
No.
Wedding planner.
Oh yeah. Highly recommend having a wedding
planner.
If you are in the Redding area, Shasta County area. Morgan, my dear
Shout out to Morgan.
Morgan, you were awesome.
Thank you.
We were very thankful for her. She took care of everything the day of the wedding. She did all the decorating. It really just allowed us to have time with each other, with our friends, with our family, and not have to worry about all the details. What's one thing that we regret not having? Well, we got in a photo booth that wasn't working, and that was a bummer. And food. Everyone told us, eat the food because you paid for it, so you might as well eat it. And honestly, like I don't know when we would have had time to eat food. We like literally were rushed from one thing to the other. But it was like such a fun blur of a day though. But yes, I mean, if anything that you have to have, it's a wedding planner.
People seriously always tell you, like, take mental screenshots, cherish your day.
Enjoy every moment.
And I have said this to many of my friends now. I always thought they meant that because it's a really important day, and it is.
But it's literally because it goes by so fast.
It literally is because, it's a lightning bolt of a day. Like, it's there and then it's gone. And if you didn't take those moments, then you didn't even, like...
Did the wedding even happen?
Exactly. It's a blur of a day.
It is. He was somebody that I really could see long term. I just knew I wanted him to meet Ethan because in my opinion, like, everyone has their opinion as far as, like, when you're dating, when you should introduce somebody into your relationship.
It's not at the beginning.
I wouldn't recommend it on your first date, but I also think there's a super important part. Like if you meet somebody that you are head over heels like in love with, or you really, really like Ted could never really love me or really know me without knowing Ethan, because Ethan is such a huge part of my life that I feel like if he never met Ethan, or if we went 6, 8 months, a year without him ever meeting Ethan, one, he's like not knowing like a humongous part of my life. So like you could never fall in love with me without also like knowing who I am as a mom, because that's a big part of who I am. So I think figuring out like, is that person somebody long term, like, and are you both on the same page with that, is probably the first thing. That's how you know, is if it's somebody that you can see as a part of your family.
I think at the conversion point of trust around the kid's age. So can whoever you're prospectively seeing appreciate where a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 12-year-old is emotionally, and then build trust on that level? I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because if I'm reckless with how I treat a 5-year-old's heart, he's going to be way more hurt because he's not responsible. He can't be responsible for managing his emotions. He's 5.
How did your ex feel about you guys dating? I feel at that point like he just really wanted me to have a good man in my life that loved me and Ethan, and so I think he was like excited that I was excited about somebody. So I mean, I felt like to him it was probably like a huge weight lifted off of his shoulders, to be honest. So I guess it just depends, like your relationship with your ex. If it's in a good place and you feel like things are going well, like be honest with them, and I hope that it can continue to go well, but it's just going to be different in every situation. So with Victor Emerald Flower Bomb because that's originally what I was gonna go with.
Because it's the best.
And I just stuck with it because he did buy that for me for our 1-year anniversary, I think. And I don't know, it's one of my favorites. Did you keep track of the makeup your makeup artist used to create the bridal look? Sort of. I know she used my Huda Beauty palette, and then I don't know what else she mixed in there. And then I wore the iconic lights from House of Lashes. And then my lip combo was Kat Von D Bow and Arrow with Bound Lip Gloss, and my foundation it was the La Mer foundation mixed with Natasha Denona Foundation X. So that's about the best I can give you.
Most influence I had was on the food.
Yeah. But we had like, you agreed with my color choices, and honestly with the floral, for the bouquets, I didn't even pick out the floral. I left it up to the philanthropist to do the bouquets. And then for the actual like table centerpieces, we literally just took any kind of colors that were in our color scheme and went and picked them up from Trader Joe's and Safeway the morning before the wedding. And if it fit the color scheme, we grabbed it, so.
I'm also kind of of the belief like the guy gets to control the proposal, the girl gets a little bit more influence on the wedding.
Yeah, but you liked how it turned out, right?
I loved how it turned out.
It was beautiful.
You guys, there will be a whole video about the wedding. It turned out amazing.
We were engaged from December till May, so about 6 months.
Yeah.
And how did we decide on Lakehead?
It was gorgeous,
and we never had a wedding there.
Yeah, they've never had a wedding there, and it's stunning.
Yeah,
that's why we decided on Lakehead.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. Our leftover mason jars from the engagement, you can get them at Target. They're really cheap, and I just got rose gold and gold spray paint. At first I sprayed the inside, but don't do that because if you're putting water, it'll start flaking. So I basically just put it on a piece of cardboard and sprayed the outside. That's all you do. Super easy. I feel like we kind of answered a lot of that in one of the other questions.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Get to know, just make sure you trust that person, again, age appropriate to your child, before you dive into that.
With some babies.
Yeah,
and hopefully like building or in our like dream house or something.
I agree. I think we're both in exciting places in our careers, continuing on those paths. Hopefully you guys still enjoy
our videos.
But yeah, probably building a house or maybe in a house already.
Renovating.
If you don't follow Kassie's Snapchat already, we were looking at a house this past weekend, and Kassie was doing her like
how I would change everything.
We watch way too much HGTV, and we got to put those skills to good use. Yeah.
We are leaving in a week, and we're going to Oahu, and it's going to be glorious for a week.
Yeah, we leave Sunday the 28th, and it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. And
I can't wait to be on the beach.
Is it a big adjustment to Ted moving in? Yes and no. Like, I feel like for the last year, he's here all the time anyways, so it kind of already felt very much like our home. Yeah. He's just here like a little bit more, which is really nice. So not a big adjustment other than like I had to clear out closet space and bathroom space.
So yes.
So other than that, now you guys know why so much clothes was like on Poshmark and stuff, because I had to clear out some room. There was a lot of moments I feel like I was like, yeah, he's the one. The way he interacted with Ethan just was really precious and really sweet. I feel like I kind of left the door open for him to like feel out his relationship with him. So it wasn't like I'm like, hey, act like his dad, or hey, you're just a friend. I kind of just let him figure that out. And there was just so many sweet, precious moments with him and Ethan that I felt like really just confirmed a lot of that. I don't know like the one moment, because I feel like very early on there was a lot of moments with the way he treated me, the way that he like honored me and like would check in with me throughout the day, bring me flowers, was always like very positive and encouraging. I felt like there was never, I don't know, I just felt like he was like my biggest cheerleader, and not in a like I'm up here and you're down here kind of way, but like a partnership of him really encouraging me and supporting the things that I want to do. And so yeah, I just knew a long time ago. And as far as like what did I do, I told him I loved him and that I wanted to marry him. Actually, He wanted to say I love you first, so I would just say, I more than like you a lot. And that's what I said for like weeks before he finally told me he loved me. It's, I more than liked you. More than like you a lot.
The moment I knew Kassie was the one, I think came in the moment where I knew, you have that moment where you're like, no, not only does this person make my life better, because I think there's a lot of people that make your life better, your family, friends, etc. Hopefully you have good friends, family, etc. But you come to a moment where you actually don't want to see your life without them, but that's an important thing. She wasn't just someone that made my life better, but she was someone that I couldn't live without.
His vows to Ethan will forever be like etched in my brain and my heart, because that was, am I boring you?
I haven't had enough coffee.
I'm kidding. That was just so sweet, and I watched that video over and over again, and it just brings me to tears every time. So.
Yes, I think the vows are definitely the moment that's most etched in my mind, and I think that's appropriate.
I don't know what our next big thing is his career, my career, eventually talking about babies.
The next big thing for us is going on our honeymoon.
Yeah, that is the next big thing. Oh, he is so excited. What?
No, go ahead.
We got a robot vacuum cleaner, a Roomba, which is named Techno. And you would think that we had another child in the house. Like, he wakes up in the morning and says, good morning, Techno. It's like almost sad that I'm like, we definitely need to give him a brother or sister. But he asks all the time, like, like his old underwear. I'll say, buddy, go throw these away. And he'll be like, no, we need to save this for when you and Ted have babies. I'm like, buddy, we could buy some new underwear for the babies.
It's like a lot of railroad tracks.
Yeah, he's really excited about that. Oh, sick. I just got that. They're called skid marks.
Well, there's a lot of, they're used.
Do you have anything to add to that about Ethan having a brother or sister?
I think there's no child I've ever met more social than Ethan.
Oh my gosh, I know. He'd be so excited to have a kid.
Yeah.
He tells us we need new friends with kids all the time, so.
Yeah, he would be overjoyed.
I feel like he's fine with it.
He was the first person we called after we got engaged.
Basically. I FaceTimed him and I was like, we didn't tell him. He heard it through the grapevine, and he said,
he was happy for us.
Yeah, I mean, he's moved on, and so I think him seeing me in a really great, healthy relationship is happy for him. Like, he's... Yeah. I mean,
Ben's gonna have a fine relationship.
Yeah, he doesn't have, like, any ill will towards me. So I feel like he just feels bad for what has happened and wants me happy, and knows that Ted's a really good guy and knows that he treats Ethan really well.
And,
yeah. He knew we were going to get married from early on, because I had told him I really liked Ted, and he met Ted, and I feel like everybody kind of knew we were going to be getting married, so it wasn't really like this conversation that I sat down and had with him. Don't really feel like I would have needed to, but yeah, he was fine with it. And it was a tiny bit warmer, because a lot of people got cold and left early, but that was it.
I would say that, and the food thing again. We had great food of the little I had of it, and I really wish I would have had like a little bit more.
And what do you do? That was the question.
I do life insurance and retirement planning. If you live in Redding and you need those
if you live in California or Nevada or Michigan.
Yeah, I have my license in Oregon, Nevada, California, and Michigan, and I will probably be expanding continuously.
There you go. So if you need insurance, he's your guy.
Couple things. I think having a family grounds you in a really beautiful way. I think you have to be, in a very positive way, more responsible, more disciplined, and more intentional with your time, effort, to raise a child, to be a good husband. I love having that. And then I think I really have so much fun with Ethan and Kassie. Like, yeah, we just always have a good time. Like, I really enjoy, like, the small errands, and I don't know.
Nerf gun fights.
Yeah, if you guys ever want to see a Nerf gun fight video, I probably will film one.
And Ethan would love that.
I did this, like, I don't know if any of you follow me on Instagram, but I sometimes will just, like, take 30 Instagram stories and piece them together with, like, a Nerf gun fight or something. And it's kind of awesome.
Ethan, it was super cute. All right, the next question is from SamStev5. Do you plan on posting a wedding video? Yes, it's in the making. Hopefully we'll have it we're like the next lineup. They had a video that's due on the 1st of June, so we're probably going to be, when we get back from our honeymoon, it should be close to getting done.
Yeah, I would say by...
And that will be posted on this channel as soon as it's...
2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, as soon as it's up, it'll be posted.
Was I nervous about becoming a dad? I think in thinking about it, yes, because it's a really big thing. But in the doing, I wasn't as worried, or I'm not as worried, because I feel like I'm a pretty intentional person, and I knew as long as I can give 100% of myself to Ethan, that in the same way that you give 100% of yourself to your spouse, that that love is all that really matters at the end of the day. And that, I think, calms my nerves. I think people, in one sense, right, you sacrifice everything for your family. But at the same time, you have to recognize that a wife and a husband don't lose the needs they have in life based on becoming a parent. Like, Kassie still has as many needs having a child as she does without that. And the same way for me. And so as we, like, figure out what those things and how to meet those looks like, that creates a fruitfulness and an ability to continue to be the best parents we can be on an individual basis as well as together.
Yep. Good babe. I used Haley Castro, and she is amazing. She works at the local Mac here, and she does freelance.
Box below.
Check out the, yes, she's such a babe. She's great. Yes, pretty much. I mean, you might have a few things left.
I still need to move some things. I need more closet space, and that is in high demand in this house.
Honey, I gave you like literally between a quarter and half of the closet.
It's a quarter or less.
No! No. Well,
do you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for like a good portion of our relationship, because he was working so much, like we kind of grew into being more homebodies and not going out a lot. And so I definitely am more of a homebody, mainly because I work from home too. So like I'm just comfortable in my house. But now that he is just doing one job, going out on business for himself, I feel like he has more time to be social and go out and do things. So he has, in the last month, had like this like social butterfly bug to go out and be like social. And I'm so used to being home that that's like something I have to get used to. And obviously I enjoy being social as well. It's been habit to kind of be little hermits. So it's, I think a lot of it is like sacrifice and compromise too, because at some points he's gonna have to want to go out, but he's gonna know that I need to just have a quiet night in with him. And I'm gonna need to know like, oh, he needs to go out and be social. So I either need to go be social with him or like let him have, you know, time to go out with his friends or do something like that. So a lot of it is compromising, I think, because I'm definitely more of a homebody introvert.
Yeah, I don't think one is right or one is wrong.
Yeah.
Most of the most successful relationships I know, the husband-wife, the couple is very opposites.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good to have that. If you're both the same, then you guys could be so far off of a beaten path.
Well, you could either be, yeah, you guys could either be like a massive hermits where you don't have any community, any people, or you could be so social that you really aren't connecting with each other because you're not having that like one-on-one alone time.
It's really 100% about communication.
Yeah.
I think anything you can do in life to invest in your ability to do that, either as a single person or as a married couple, it pays you back like 1,000 times over. Certainly, in some ways.
Yeah.
I think like
there's that deeper commitment.
Yeah, you feel a whole lot safer, and I don't know. I think at least for me, I'm like almost like more excited about the future now.
Yeah.
Because we've been like planning for this one event for 6 months, and to kind of be able to like take a deep breath and be like, oh my gosh, this is our life.
Yeah.
Now we get to, yeah, exactly.
One thing that I knew that was really different about Ted is I found like when I would go on dates prior to meeting him, I would almost like self-sabotage myself. That sounds like too many selves, but I would like sabotage myself because I would just be like, oh, well, I've had all this pain and like I have commitment issues. I like would kind of like preface everything with like, I'm this damaged person and here's what happened to me. And if it doesn't work out, here's all the reasons why. And it's because like I've been hurt and wounded and whatever. So I very much played like a victim role, and I felt like that was my way of protecting. I'm really sweaty. I'm so sorry. I have a sweatshirt on. I'm like so hot.
It's okay.
I felt like that was my way of protecting myself from getting hurt from anybody. And I literally did that with anyone I went on a date with. So stupid. Whatever. But
worked out in my best interest.
It did. But the thing that I knew about that was different with him is it was probably like a month maybe. Like he obviously knew I was divorced, but it was probably a good month before I even shared anything about what had happened. I didn't feel the need to. I didn't feel like the need to like sabotage myself. Like I didn't even think about talking about it, which was very different for me. And I remember when he asked like, yeah, so like what kind of happened? And I kind of shared, and I felt like it was a very like cut and dry, really quick version of it. And then over our relationship, obviously, like I opened up a little bit more about things that had happened. And yeah, but I feel like I didn't feel the need to sabotage myself, which was very different for me. Well, I asked him out on Facebook so he could see all my photos.
Yeah,
so
I knew day one. Well, and to address it, I think that it's important not to view your past as a negative thing. And I genuinely really believe it's all about what you do from whatever mistake or whatever pain you were caused, how you seek wholeness, how you seek forgiveness, or any path to success, any path back to a center of normal. And that's what's most important. And so for Cass, it was she really invested in wholeness, and that's what mattered to me. And everybody's still on a journey. Nobody's perfect, but are you a person that can grow over time? Not just in the bad times, because I think those are most naturally when everything is in an urgent state of pain, whatever, it's easy to go, oh, I need help. Mm-hmm. But can you do that when everything is really good? Can you do that in like happy seasons? That's what's most important. How do you grow as a person? And if you're somebody who has a difficult past, please don't look at that as a negative. Literally, nobody that is taking steps forward is frowned upon in my eyes.
How did you react, and how did your family react about me having a son?
I think naturally, so I'm the oldest of my brothers, and I have 2 younger brothers, and so it was the first, like, our relationship is probably, like, obviously now, the most serious relationship I've ever been in, but naturally, any parents are like, okay, like, what's the story there? And to say the same thing basically I just said before, it was they wanted to know the same things that I wanted to know, which was what's her actual story, where is she at, how has she grown, how did she handle that really difficult situation. And it required a lot of vulnerability and openness on your end, where you had to put yourself in a position to be hurt, to then have trust be built and feel that love. Mm-hmm. And I know I think I had made that commitment, and I understood where you were at a little bit before them. Mm-hmm. And it was really important for me to go to my parents and my family and say, look, I'm risking my heart for this girl. Will you risk your heart for her with me? Because at that time, we weren't engaged, we weren't married. It was a relationship I was exploring. I was putting myself out there, and in order for them to have the same potential love and potential connection, they needed to also risk as well. And so they were more than willing to do that, and it's just been incredibly fruitful ever since.
Yeah, that's all of our questions.
That's all of them? Well, thank you for your questions.
Yeah,
you guys are fantastic people.
I hope that this was helpful for anyone going through a similar situation, or any single moms out there. Dating, like, there is hope. Even if you're not a single mom and you are looking for a good man, there is hope. They are out there. That was so loud in my ear.
You might even be able to lose your hearing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like a lot of people said that this relationship has given them hope, because a lot of you know the crap that I went through. and to see that you can, like, even if you didn't go through something super crappy, you just had like an average breakup, there's really good guys out there, and I just recommend like keeping your standards high and not settling for an okay or a crappy relationship, because you can have a really beautiful relationship. You just have to hold out for it and keep your standards high. And yeah, I got lucky with this one right here.
I got lucky with this one here.
Guys, thank you so much for watching, and there's gonna be a lot of videos coming up featuring this handsome fish right here. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, we will talk to you guys in the next video. Well, I'll talk to you in the next one. He might not be here.
Thank you guys for watching.
But thanks for your questions, and we love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.